Hello everyone and welcome. This is Mr. Everett and today's lesson is about quadratic functions. Specifically, what are the characteristics of a quadratic function? So in this lesson, we'll introduce you to quadratic functions. Our essential question is, what are the characteristics of a quadratic function? Let's get started. So far you've studied linear functions, meaning once you graph them, they take the shape of a line. Yeah, linear proportional, pass through the origin, straight line. Linear non-proportional, straight line, does not pass through the origin. Rate of change, constant proportionality, things like that. Well, our nonlinear function, which we sort of talked about, but not much before algebra, is a quadratic function. These are nonlinear functions, meaning they take the shape of a curve. They're still a function, meaning each input only has one specific output. However, they take the shape of, the graph takes the shape of a curve. So let's get into some details about the characteristics of a quadratic function. So to do that, let's graph the function f of x is x squared. Let's take a minute and evaluate the expression at -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. And tell me, what do we notice about this graph? So if we evaluate x squared at -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2, we get 4, 1, 0, 1, and 4. Notice if I split this right here, it's the same on this side. So when x -2, y is 4, x -1, y is 1. So we get this curved looking thing here. So it's shaped like a U. It opens at the top, open upward, and is split down the middle. Same distance here to the left and to the right. All right, let's take something very close to that, and let's complete the table for the graph f of x equals negative, or the opposite of x squared. So if we complete that graph, we see it's also curved, or shaped like a U, but in this case, the opening is at the bottom, or downwards. It also is symmetrical, meaning it's the same distance on both sides of the line. Okay? So these are functions, but they're not linear. So back to our question. What are some of the characteristics of a quadratic equation? Well, first you have to, a quadratic function or equation. So what do we have to, first we have to tell you what the characteristics are. Let's start off with a few. Well, the standard form for a quadratic equation is y equals some number a times x squared plus b times some number x plus c, or a is not equal to 0. Why is that important? Well, if a was equal to 0, this would go away, and I'd be left with what? A linear equation. So in order for us to have a quadratic equation, this coefficient a cannot be equal to 0, because if it is, then I'm back to a linear equation. X squared is called the parent function. You can't get any smaller than that. That's the smallest quadratic you'll get. That's basically just you're squaring a variable x, and that gives you a quadratic equation, the smallest quadratic equation, if you will, that you can have. So the first one we did, f of x equals x squared, was a parent function. That's open at the top, split down the middle, same on both sides. The other one we graphed was f of x equals negative x squared, another parent function, except it's open at the bottom and still split down the middle. And we'll stop after this. We call the graph of a quadratic function a parabola. Okay? So we have the standard form of a quadratic equation is a times x squared plus b times x plus c, where a is not equal to 0. We have our most basic quadratic functions, which are x squared and the opposite of x squared. And when we graph a quadratic function has a special name called a parabola. So we'll stop right there and we'll come back and continue next video.